Wait for it, and boom. We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my
direction,
the guy with the belt, Tark 2 belts, the one and only reigning, defending, undisputed Scholars of Wrestling World and Party Champion. All the accolades you can imagine. Because if you don't know, he'll certainly let you know. The one and only Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing very well. Nice introduction. Thank you. And yes, it definitely does feel good to still be Tarek Two Belts with a successful title defense. Good job, Brian. It was a very close call. All came down to that one last match, but yeah, you got your title defense. How does it feel?
Considering that the title wasn't on the line for Double or Nothing.
Yes, it was.
No, it was for Backlash. Don't even try that.
No. If you go back to Money in the Bank, I never specified what prediction show. I specified the next prediction show. And what was the next prediction show? Double or Nothing.
Well, you know what?
Hey, all right. It was down to one match. If you would have won, I would have driven down to you and handed you the belt.
We were all good. Okay, we were all perfectly fine. Okay, but now, okay, it all right. The next time you mess up, okay, the beef.
We will all know where the beef is.
Here's the deal.
Okay? I would know. I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
You know what? I could have been a dick. Charlie knows. I could have been a dick. I could have
been a dick. And I kept my side of the bargain. I kept my side of the bargain. I gave it. It was the next prediction show. You may have forgotten that the title was on the line, but I certainly did not. And
you know what?
I put the title on the line at Double or Nothing. It's fine. You still lost.
It's fine.
It was a fair title.
It's not only gonna be you. Okay. I've made fun of you for about a year now because of what I did to you with the beef case. All right. It's not only gonna be you anymore. Expect it soon because Backlash, you're done.
I don't expect anything less from you. If you win, you cash in. That's perfectly fine. As long as you just don't put a tying prediction just to be a dick about it. That would be low for you.
I just did.
Well, then again,
we respect each other more than enough that you would actually do that. You would want to earn this belt back instead of just being, I'm going to be a cheese.
Well, then again,
no one wants to be a cheese.
I want to be a cheese. I cheese every time I win that title, but that's beside the point.
That's gross.
The point is that it wouldn't be an episode of the Scholars Wrestling Show without going to war over all that gold. But then again, you already knew all that. But you also know that we cannot kick off a proper episode of the Scholars of Wrestling Show without a little bit.
Hold on.
Holding. What am I holding on for?
Introduce the guest, man. Introduce the guest. Introduce the other scholar, man. You forgot.
We got so my apologies. I got so heftily involved in the immediate scuffle over the titles, I forgot to introduce the other two co-hosts of the evening. Scholar Charlie, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good, guys.
And of course, as we already heard from him in excess, the one and only Scholar Brian. Brian, I hope you're doing okay, sir.
Oh, I was doing okay. And then Tarek Two Belts started talking shit. So here we are.
I
And he pulled a
shit,
fast one.
Ryan. I said congratulations on a good title match that you forgot about. So I'm the one who actually pays attention on the Scholars of Wrestling show. You forgot you had a title match.
That's
Shame.
fine.
Shame.
It's fine. It's fine because I don't forget what I have in my back pocket.
Oh, I haven't forgot what you have in your. I forgot what you have in your back
Charlie
pocket.
knows what I have in my back pocket.
Oh, I know what you have. You
You're
have the
gonna find out
briefcase.
soon enough. That's it.
Please tell me we're still talking about beef cases here.
We've always been talking about beef cases. I don't know what's on your mind, Scholar Jeff, but that's it.
What kind of beef are you talking about?
If we're talking about any other beef, it would be closer to his front pocket.
Something segue, a little bit of backstage news.
Indeed, should go ahead and find someone to pull that curtain for me, being the champ of champions, and checking in on a little
Backstage
news.
News. Sad man.
I also would have accepted awkward segues, meh. But yeah, unfortunately, we got some more sad news in the world of professional wrestling today with the abrupt and tragic passing of one Hana Kimura, a Joshi wrestling star from Japan who tragically passed away over the weekend at the age of, I believe, just 22.
22. What happened in this case? She went on a reality show in Japan, basically the Japanese version of Big Brother. It was called Terrace House, and she wanted to bring more Japanese eyes to the professional wrestling business and all that. But it's also, you're living in a house with people who you don't know for a long period of time. So shit's gonna go down. That's it. And one of her housemates accidentally shrunk the outfit that she wore for one of her biggest matches that she
Tokyo Dome.
that she ever had, and she flipped out. Honestly, like, honest reaction, flipped out, just like anybody else would. That kind of deal. And of course, you get the internet faithful who immediately turn on her in the worst way, go fully racist, and go, because she was half Japanese and half, what was it?
I don't even know, but all I know is she had a very exotic look to her that made her stand out. And it was, again, I thought she was a very good looking woman. I'm sorry.
And people online and people on Twitter basically were being completely racist about it. And then like 300 people were telling her, you need to die. You need to go die right now. You need to just die. Fuck you, die. And well, that's it. Basically, she put up a bunch of tweets. I think it was Friday. Was it Friday or Saturday?
I think it was like Friday, Saturday, something like that.
Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah. And then Saturday came out. And then Saturday came out that she had committed suicide via she inhaled hydrogen.
Yeah, it was some sort of gaseous thing.
Kind of just and it has gotten to the point where they have shut down the production of that show because of this. Okay, they are introducing sanctions in Japan for social media because of this. And it's just all of this because she got pissed that one of her housemates shrunk her wrestling outfit that she wore during one of her biggest life moments. And she got rightfully pissed. She went off. And this is the problem with Twitter, man. That's it.
Yeah, it was just cyberbullying at its worst. I guess, this was a case where fans of reality TV just took it way, way too far. And it turns out, I did some digging as this was happening. It turns out that because that she was involved primarily with the Stardom promotion in Japan, she had a lot of contacts with Stardom alumni, including Kairi Sane, who apparently, as soon as she saw the offensive post from Hana, Kairi reached out to the promotion immediately, saying, "Do a welfare check, get there now," and that's how they originally found her. So yeah, that was it. And honestly, I know that it wasn't the biggest name, or at least the most well-known name yet. I have really sort of been following. I haven't been following the Joshi scene in Japan just as much as I had been in years past. Mostly because all the big noteworthy names, lately they've all gotten scooped up really, really fast. Asuka signed, Kairi Sane signed, Io Shirai signed, Hikaru Shida signed. Just seeing of who was left and just looking at matches and seeing who was there, just looking at Hana Kimura's reputation and what little I've seen of her, especially since she had her match at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom, which that was a first for New Japan. Plus, she was also at the Madison Square Garden show, the dual show with Ring of Honor and New Japan. If you had asked me months ago who the next breakout star in the States was going to be, I would have picked Hana Kimura. She was bright, she was colorful, she looked super, super smooth in the ring. She had a great look, made her stand out. I thought she was tremendous. So, again, it would be sad enough of someone losing someone in this way, but in just my opinion, I think we also lost one of the great future female wrestling stars worldwide, and that's what makes this really tragic to me.
And what makes it tragic to me is she was 22.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that would have been enough.
It's like even if you didn't need all that, if you watched NJPW, if you watched Stardom, if you had kept up, you knew she was good, and you knew at some point, she'd at least try the States crossover kind of deal. But you don't even need to know that. You don't even need to know this person. It's like she was 22. She went on a reality show. She got pissed off for a reason that a lot of us would get pissed off. Okay. And the people turned on her so hard that I've never seen someone get turned on so hard where 5,000 people are telling you you need to die. And that's it. Like,
Yeah.
those are legit tweets. Like, you need to go die. Like, right now. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, this, I think it goes without saying that all of wrestling Twitter and all of Japanese reality show Twitter, we've all learned a very severe lesson today, as if any of us needed a reminder. Well, we got it today.
Yeah.
So,
And guess what? Your favorite reality show in Japan, Terrace House, where this happened, it's been canceled. So that's the consequences of your dumbass fucking tweets. All right, that's it. That's it.
yeah, so what more can be said but Godspeed, Hana Kimura. Your family are in our prayers and our thoughts and all our hearts. So rest easy. Hopefully we'll see you down the road. In the meantime, thankfully, not everything is so tragic and sad. Because as we alluded to at the top of the show, we all, as much as we saw the worst of pro wrestling, we also saw some of the best this week too. And of course, I'm talking about AEW Double or Nothing. I know some of us had some issues seeing the show its entirety, but let's just give us some quick rundowns of some general thoughts, general reactions to the show at large. Tarek, you're the champ. Give us some immediate feedback. What'd you think of the show?
I absolutely love the show. This is Double or Nothing is definitely become the WrestleMania for AEW. It is their top show, and they definitely had that feeling going in, and they definitely went all out. No pun intended. What I loved about it, or at least of the parts of the show that I saw, it was definitely just everyone on their A game. Everybody on that show that I saw looked like $1 million. And the highlight of it was the Stampede Stadium, which that's really the only match that I actually saw in its entirety. And it is hands down my match of the year so far. And I don't think anything is going to top that. Just for that match alone, I gave the show a go face just from all the highlights that I've seen, and just the Stampede match. I gave it a goat face, 5 out of 5. I loved every bit of it, and what made it even better, especially the Stampede match, is the little nods that people are like, oh, they pulled a No Mercy with them Irish whipping someone into the backstage, and it just went to a backstage
caught that
segment.
too.
I literally laughed out loud after I read that, and I watched it again. I'm like, yeah, how did I miss that? Great storytelling all around, and getting the cheerleaders and involved. It definitely added so much to what they had, and it was just. I hope they do something like that every year.
Mm-hmm. All right. Scholar Charlie, how much of the show did you catch, and what were your immediate reactions to the show?
I'm just gonna go with that. I was pretty happy with the results. I only saw the pre-show, and I caught the casino ladder match, and the stadium stampede. I caught like half of that, the back half. Yeah, I'm psyched with the results. I have something to say about the winner of the casino ladder match, but do you want me to touch on that after you guys are done, or?
No, actually, while you're on it, just fire away.
Okay, I find it kind of foolish that Moxley won over what's Harper being referred to now? It keeps escaping my
Brody
mind.
Lee.
Brody. That in that fashion, and then has Brian Cage win the casino ladder match, because now it just seems like he's going to be like this miraculous giant killer, and I don't know if I like that for Moxley. I don't know. Seems like a little too like good guy-ish for a guy like Moxley to have to pull miraculous giant killer finishes. But that's just my take. Because they're going to have to go with a finish like the Brody Lee match to still make Cage look good.
I will say this, because I will agree that I do like that they signed Brian Cage. I do like that helps them a lot in my book. But the problem is, okay, you do kind of pigeonhole Moxley here, because the money match for All Out, the money match is Moxley versus MJF. That's what they're building for. MJF is the top of the sports rankings that they do,
as you should,
as it should be, and
damn straight.
And legitimately, the money match is Moxley versus MJF. Knowing that going in, why? Okay. Why, like, are you trying to have Moxley be a giant killer and then lose to, and then underestimate MJF because he's been busy beating all these giants for the last couple months? I mean that's a storyline, that's a way to go. But I mean, you can only do the same thing so much. That's it. So it's like
booking short term and not thinking about that being the ender.
Yeah, it's like, you know where it's ending. You know it's going to be Moxley versus MJF. Anything else, you don't get the you don't get the money main event. Cage versus MJF is not a money main event at this point. Okay, the money main event is Moxley versus MJF. Imagine those promos.
Yes.
That is going to be absolute gold, and I think we all know this. One, maybe it's just because we just came off of Money in the Bank not too long ago, but maybe one of you can refresh me. The Casino Battle Royal, does that function in a similar way as Money in the Bank, where they can cash it in for a future title match, or does it have to? Are you the number one contender right away?
It is confirmed that at the next pay-per-view that they have, Fyter Fest, that Page is fighting Moxley for the title. That's
okay then. All right.
So it's like you're pigeonholing at this point. Yeah, he won his first big match. Oh, great. He can't beat Moxley at this point. So you're gonna do the same thing you did with Brody Lee? But other than that, okay. The only thing I had a problem with in this show was Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears, because that was weak. That was weak as fuck. But
it was the essential older star coming back and having his big win after getting completely destroyed by Lance Archer.
Yeah, but it's like in doing that, I think Shawn Spears needed to win more. But whatever.
It was definitely a WWE booked match. That's why I actually picked Shawn Spears. I'm like, it feels like it would be my WWE frame of mind to pick Dustin Rhodes, and I actually was gonna pick Dustin Rhodes, but I'm like, that's too WWE that they would do that. And when they actually went and did that, and I'm like, oh, wow.
So it's like, other than
Good on me.
This show was great. Moxley versus Brody Lee, they booked that the best way that they possibly could. Moxley couldn't lose, but Brody Lee couldn't look bad. How do you look bad taking the dirty deeds through the through the ramp, coming up all busted open, kicking out at one, taking another one, kicking out at two. The only reason you lost is because you passed out in a rear naked choke. I'm like, that you cannot make a man look any stronger in a loss than you made Brody Lee look when he lost to John Moxley for the title.
And I think personally, this is how they're going to pull this whole thing off. If the end game is ultimately going to be MJF versus John Moxley, at Fyter Fest, when we see Brian Cage versus Moxley, we're going to see a similar result where he technically wins, but it's not a conclusive victory like a pinfall victory or something like that. He wins, but it's more like he just barely survives the big man. And MJF is just looking at this thing saying, and hold on. MJF looks at this thing and is just like, yeah, it looks like you're having trouble with big guys, huh? Yeah, you can't really stand up to him too well, can you? Wardlow, come here. Just
But here's
Wardlow shenanigans. MJF actually beats Moxley. Bam, new AEW champion.
And
so you're saying you go first, Brian. You go first.
And I believe that, but it's also it's not a question of having trouble beating the big men. It's like you have to come up with a better route than that because he's making them pass out. Okay, it's not pitting them, submitting them. That's all well and good. Like I don't think there's a more conclusive victory than actually making your opponent pass out. So it's.
I'm just saying there's potential for a good storyline and logic that can be applied to this match.
Yeah, I think you need to take a different route than that, though, because it's like he's not technically having trouble beating them. He's making them pass out. So he can't pin them. He can't pin them, but he can, like, almost kill them. That's it. So it's like, what would you rather have? That's it.
I can still, with a character like MJF, as cunning as he is and has shown to be, I'm convinced that somehow his matches with all these really big guys, MJF is going to be paying attention. He's going to be taking notes. He's going to get a battle strategy in mind. He's going to pass that strategy on to Wardlow, saying, oh, yeah, you're a big dude. This is how you deal with Moxley. I will come in and do everything else because I'm better than him and he knows it.
I feel like the obvious route here is for Moxley to make Wardlow pass out. And then he's like, I've beaten all the big guys. And then MJF comes in and beats him like via shenanigans as MJF does. It's like, oh, you've been ready for all these big guys. You never saw me coming. That's it.
Let Tarek speak.
So essentially, you're saying MJF is going to be the Jinder Mahal of AEW. It's going to be MJF versus Moxley. Wardlow is going to be the shenanigan distraction, and MJF is going to just steal the win.
Yeah, because that's the fucking character.
No!
MJF's better than Jinder.
And he knows it.
He's being booked the exact same way. That's the problem. I'm
not going the full Jinder route. I'm just saying that, look, MJF, the way he's been booked, okay, yeah, he beat Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing, but there were also shenanigans in that. So it's one of those, okay, get it out of your head. He's not beating Moxley clean. It's not happening.
He's not going to beat anyone clean. He's going to get the Jinder win and have the KO title reign where everything is shenanigans and it just affects the.
But
And
you
then
know
it'll
what?
just all end with Jungle Boy beating MJF for the
But
AEW
I'm not
Championship in
going
the
that.
future.
I'm not
That's
going
how
that.
MJF loses the belt to
No.
Jungle Boy.
I'm not going that far. The KO title reign itself, okay, I didn't have a problem with. The Chris Jericho first title reign, I didn't have a problem with until I'm talking about the undisputed title reign. Everything up to the Triple H shit was fine, but the deal here is you can't be both. Okay,
It is.
you can't suddenly you're beating Jungle Boy via shenanigans. You're beating Cody Rhodes by shenanigans. Okay, all of a sudden you're gonna beat Jon Moxley clean. That's not gonna fucking happen. Okay,
I'll only accept it. I'll only accept it if Wardlow actually distracts the referee and MJF does the low blow. Other than Wardlow tries to get involved, Moxley knocks him down, and then just turns into a finishing move. I hate that book.
All I need, okay, all I need from AEW is consistency in characters.
And
Okay,
I feel like the low blow from behind is a better way than.
And that's all I'm saying. He's gonna win via shenanigans.
It just depends. It's just the shenanigans depending on. Again, not the Jinder route where he takes the lackey or lackeys out and just turns like, yeah, I'm awesome. Oh no, I'm tripping into a finishing maneuver and I lose.
And that's the problem that I have, because you automatically assumed that I said that he was going to go the Jinder route. All I said was he's going to win via shenanigans.
Wait, time. No, I didn't say you. Didn't say you did that. That's what Jeff said. That's
I was
Jeff's
just
route.
bullshitting out my butthole. Just like
Your butthole is Wardlow getting Moxley taking out Wardlow and turns into an MJF finisher. That's what you said. That's the Jinder route. I'll turn with the referee and MJF hitting him with the title or a low blow.
I want to tag Scarlett Charlie in. You look like you're like chomping at the bit over here.
I am so distraught by something that Tarek said, and that's that Jungle Boy is going to beat MJF for the title.
Oh, no.
Took you long enough.
No.
If Randy Orton wasn't ready at 24, Jungle Boy is certainly not ready at 22.
No, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen when MJF wins. That's the impetus for Cody Rhodes to get back into the fucking title picture.
Absolutely.
And then that will lead to Jungle Boy versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW Championship.
Son of a bitch! Why would you do that?
I'm okay with this. Orange Cassidy is orange. He's orange.
He's the son to our doodles.
TV title, that's fine.
I'll keep saying that every time we talk about Orange Cassidy. He's the son to our doodles.
No, legit. This is MJF is going to win the title. That's the impetus for Cody Rhodes to get back into the title picture, and then we go from there. Jungle Boy is not going to be higher at this point than the TNT title. Give it another year. We'll go from there. But this is all. Moxley beats Cage. We're all guaranteed on that. Okay. Then it's like 95% that MJF beats Moxley first time. And that's
5%.
Via shenanigans. And then you get Cody Rhodes. That's how you get Cody Rhodes to be like, fuck that. This is how it's full circle. That's how you go for full circle. And then that's that story. And going about the Stadium Stampede, holy shit. All I need to know is, like, I don't need to see Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy in a golf cart chasing Sammy Guevara again. All I needed was Hangman Page on that damn horse chasing Sammy Guevara. And I'm like,
No, what we needed was Hangman Page and Kenny Omega sharing drinks at the bar, beer and milk.
beer and milk.
That's what we need.
The star of that match, whether you want to admit it or not, was Sammy Guevara. that dude,
Oh,
that dude,
absolutely.
Incredible.
that dude was that dude's got to go far, and I think we're discounting him by not putting him in the title picture as soon as other people.
The man took suplexes from one end of the field to the other. Yes.
That
He's
was
got to work on his forward rolls, though.
Yeah, that dude was the star of the match. That dude and the horse. That's it.
Speaking of unexpected moments and what before we move too far away from crazy title wins, was anyone else surprised when Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII defeated Shiva from Mortal Kombat 3 to win the AEW Women's title?
Honestly, while watching the match, no.
Yeah, I honestly did not see that result coming. At least not that night, but then I saw like, okay, she's breaking out the cosplay. She might actually win this. Oh, hey, there it is. It happened.
When the match, before the match, I was like, no, Nyla Rose ain't going to work. Nyla Rose is going to win. And then like 5 minutes into the match, I was like, Bill.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, sure. When Nyla Rose actually starts really getting interesting, she loses. She lost.
I know. It was like just more of those moments like, found your candlestick, bitch. Like, oh, I want more of that. Seriously, I was really starting to dig what Nyla Rose was doing. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I want more. And then, nope, limit break, boom, loses.
So yeah, that happened.
So yeah, that was a thing.
I was like, I think that the women's division of AEW, it's finally starting to click.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how hard it's been since the beginning. Everyone's been giving it shit and all that. I think it's starting to click. And during the match, I could start to see how Hikaru Shida would be a good champion.
A good babyface champion, yeah.
Yeah, so it's as much as I liked the character development of Nyla Rose and like the kendo stick bitch, and so it's like, yeah, I could see that going for a little while. It's like I've figured out that AEW isn't about those monster title runs. So it's like Nyla Rose beat up Nyla Rose beat the ever loving shit out of the person out of Riho and became the champion, and you expect that she's gonna go a year.
She's not like most girls.
A year because look at her, right? Because look at her, she's gonna annihilate all the opposition. It's like I've realized that AEW doesn't go by that concept. Okay, so it's like it's not an as much as I went into the show with the predictions with the WWE mindset and was like, Nyla Rose gotta win. Look at her. She just beat Riho. They're building her up as a monster. They're building her up WWE style as a monster, and she's obviously gonna hold this title for a while. Well, look at that shit. It didn't happen. That's it. So, hey, and let's it's the women's division is finally clicking, and that's all that matters. And I see Tarek. Don't think I don't.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I know you do. But
on that happy note, I do have a Scholar's Quick Talk, thanks to that little comment I caught from you, fool. Scholar's Quick Talk, who would win in a fight between Nyla Rose and Nia Jax?
Nia Jax.
Did
I
you
don't
see
know.
the Becky Lynch shit? That's
Yeah.
it.
Nia
She
Jax.
makes Sami bleed from the head. She knocks.
Nia Jax accidentally kills people.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen when she does it purposely?
And Nyla Rose kills people purposely.
Oh, true. Brittany.
You know this? Is that fact? We know that injuries. No, Nia Jax. Injuries happen when Nia Jax is around. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
That's it.
Right. So
Injuries
to wrap
don't
up,
happen when Nyla Rose is around. Unless she gets dropped on Britt Baker's knee, and that's a legit accident. So, hey.
and she finds kendo sticks. But before we move on, I think we can all agree, though, is it pretty much unanimous that everyone's favorite match of the night was the Stadium Stampede match?
Of course.
Can we at
It's my
least
match of
agree
the
on
year.
that?
It's my match of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my match of the year, as it may. It's still the tag team match from Revolution. That's still my favorite. But it's up there. It's still match of the night. It's still up there. Mostly for the horse. I mean, the Hangman.
You
Page,
have a match with a horse. That's majestic.
Hangman Page on a horse chasing Sammy Guevara in a wrestling match. Did you ever think you'd say that ever before the Stadium Stampede?
No, sir.
This is what Jake Hager should have been like in WWE. Just when he walks in, he's like, "So we're gonna fight." Just takes a drink. It's like, yeah, have him be the Chuck Thwagger.
They need to stick with that whole poetry thing that he did on Wednesday, because that was fantastic.
Oh yes, it was. It was great.
That he loses his shit. That was amazing. He needs to have more moments like that.
Oh boy, this is the start of something big, as the man says.
What's going to start big is the potential that will take on the Stampede Stadium match for me as match of the year is the inevitable Young Bucks versus FTR.
Yes.
Yes.
FTR finally making their debut in AEW. And oh, how sweet it is.
In a very not predictable way. Because it's one of those, you've been watching regular promotions too long when you expect FTR to come out and attack the Young Bucks. Like that's the legit normalcy, right? Like the it's gonna turn into a FTR versus Young Bucks match. That's where this is up. And you would expect at normal promotions that the FTR would just show up and beat up the Young Bucks. No, we're gonna save the Young Bucks and then walk away. That's it.
Not even. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry, we're gonna fight, just not now. Build the suspense.
There you go.
That's proper booking.
And that's the legit. That's why I like this company so much. It's like that. They do booking the way it should be. That you don't like you don't expect for what happened on Dynamite. With what's happened in recent years, you expect FTR to show up and we're just gonna beat the shit out of the Young Bucks, and that's how we start this feud, and blah blah blah. Here we go. But and that would be fine, whatever. But now you have the added cog.
The whole story. The whole fighting, the challengers, the only competitors fighting against each other. It just works. It works on just what the story is telling. This is something that's been building for years between the two teams on Twitter, and now it's finally going to happen. like I said, it depends on how it's being built. I mean, look at Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley on Raw. They're beating the shit out of each other. And honestly, it just seeing these guys wanting to beat the shit out of each other and giving us a taste of it on Raw, it is something I'm looking for. It works. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And it is similar to how you, Brian, was just saying how it's been booked. But like I said, it depends on what the story is and how it fits in. And for that, it works. For Bucks and FTR, no, this is like, it will happen when it finally happens. It's going, like, before they even touch one another, it's going to be a This Is Awesome chant, because we're finally getting Young Bucks versus whatever the hell they want to call themselves.
As long as there's crowds. As long as there's crowds.
Which I think there will be sooner rather than later.
I think this is one where they need to build it and wait to actually have the match until there's actual crowds allowed to be in this thing. Allowed to be in the stadium or arena, because it's, as you saw through Raw, watching Raw this week, just having the NXT Performance Center guys in the crowd made that show a whole lot better for me. Watching it, it's like, oh, I can get invested in this now. I know that they're giving them cues and they know who to boo and who to cheer and that kind of deal. But it's like, I hear crowd now. I'm invested. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Speaking of hearing crowd now, one place where I felt like it was really done well this week is just tonight's episode of Smackdown. Again, we're taping this Friday night immediately after Smackdown. And yeah, they came out right out of the gate with a whole bunch of really good stuff and some really controversial stuff, if immediate social media reactions are to be believed. We had a drunk driving angle with Elias, Jeff Hardy, and most likely someone else, because it looks like they're setting up to something. So I got some impressions that you thought this was in bad. Some people thought it was in bad taste. What'd you think?
Okay, we were in big discussion about this before we started recording, and I heard what Brian thought of it. I heard what Charlie thought of it. I don't recall you saying anything about it. It was Charlie and Brian that were more vocal about it. I don't remember if you said anything, but
I don't think I did.
For me personally, like, I understand where everyone is coming from, but it's also the fact that they have done a storyline similar to this before in the past. So with CM Punk and Jeff Hardy, so when it was for the World Heavyweight Championship all those years ago. So is it stupid? Absolutely. But I guess in a way, it's them just trying. Everyone knows about Jeff Hardy's history with all that. Even on our show, I've made jokes about it. But I guess it's just more them bringing, like, the real life into like breaking kayfabe. And is it in bad taste? Absolutely. But hey, let's just see where it all ends up, if it ends up anywhere. If once the storylines ended, it's just like, okay, that was a complete waste of time, then yeah, I'll give my full fart. What was I going to say?
You'll give your
my full what?
Yeah, you will give your full fart, I'm sure.
You'll give your full fart. Okay.
I would give my full thought on it. Like, was that necessary? Was that not necessary? So yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those just given postage stamp version of this. My big belief for wrestling in general is you can do anything you want storyline wise in the world of professional wrestling as long as the payoff is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
This is no different. This, I could tell right away that they were setting up for some sort of, see, Jeff Hardy's being set up because everyone thinks he relapsed again, but he isn't. He finally conquered his demons, and now he's going to finally conquer whoever set him up and cost him his shot at the Intercontinental title. Feud, payoff, Jeff wins. Everyone rides off in the sunset happy. So I dug it for what it was. It wasn't the best, but I appreciated what they were attempting to do with what this segment was.
And really, was this really at the cost of the Intercontinental Championship tournament? I mean, I haven't seen it yet. I have to still watch SmackDown, but I've just read some stuff like they had a battle royal in the spot of the Jeff Hardy Elias match, and Sheamus just basically found his way to get into it. Did he win?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Sheamus. Okay, so I'm trying to think where was Elias and Jeff Hardy in the brackets. So now they're having Sheamus and Daniel Bryan.
Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
no.
so
AJ and Elias.
huh?
Yeah,
It was AJ and
Jeff
Elias.
Hardy. Jeff Hardy. Yeah.
Bryan.
Okay, like I said, I have to watch this episode. So I guess it's just basically inevitable that Sheamus, because they keep pushing that this is the one title he hasn't won yet, it's inevitable that he's going to win it. Just to continue, now we have Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. So yeah, it's just, again, adding unnecessary drama to a simple tournament is just basically the most Bruce Pritchard thing you can do, and it's just silly.
wow, that is one descriptor I didn't expect to hear tonight. It's such a Bruce Pritchard thing to do.
Am I wrong?
I mean, you're not wrong. It's just I did not expect to hear that descriptor tonight or ever, really. But for what it's worth, if you haven't seen SmackDown this week, I definitely advise it because, like I said before, I really do feel like this is one of the stronger episodes of SmackDown they've had for at least the past several weeks now.
And I can agree with that mostly. It's just like going on the point that we were going on. Okay, you know that Jeff Hardy has these problems. You know that his family outside of the WWE doesn't like that you would exploit these problems. I'm sure that they got the okay
from him.
Jeff Hardy to use this as a storyline, because if they didn't, they're fucking scumbags. That's it. That's all you need to know. But we all know, if you really pay attention, you know that Sheamus set this up to do whatever. But
There's no Derek Rowan.
There is, but it's harder for me to take because I've had family members go through this shit with all that. So using it as a storyline is kind of for me, but it's like, why couldn't you just have Sheamus beat Jeff Hardy via shady means? Why did this need to happen? Because you're taking Elias out of it too.
Oh no, poor Elias.
Well, that's fine.
The sacrificial lamb.
That's fine for the people who don't like Elias, but for the people who do, you're not just taking one guy out of the tournament. You're taking two.
My wife was pissed.
Having it in the first place.
He was taken out of King of the Ring. Now this is nothing for him.
No, if you're taking two guys out of a tournament via this, and you know you're going to do it, why are you even having a tournament in the first place? Just have Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan for the #1 contendership, and bam, there you go.
Scholar Charlie, it looks like you're waiting to be tagged in. What do you got?
Yes. Okay, two things. It was just Elias, and he's usually the sacrificial lamb for all of this. Actually, three things. I just wanted to rub that in. How great was AJ and Daniel Bryan in another like pseudo comedic line when they were given the chance to either jump in and get buys to the finals or fight for the finals. Daniel Bryan was like, of course, how you knew Daniel Bryan was going to be, and AJ's just like, oh, I'll take the buy like a fucking asshole.
It was great character work all around, and I love how I really love how Daniel Bryan is just going pure wrestling cheeseball now, and it just works. It's absolutely fantastic.
I saw that clip. I saw the clip of AJ just goes, "You're such an idiot," and my immediate response was, "Oh, Daniel Bryan, except the one match. Like, it was just Gonzo and Rizzo the Rat in Muppet Christmas Carol. It's like, you could fit through those bars? Yeah, you're such an idiot."
And I asked by you guys. I was listening to, I forgot if it was a Sam Roberts podcast or whatever, but they were talking like backstage for like what they have planned for storylines and what they had to push off with no crowds and all that stuff. And they said that there was a controversial storyline coming that was going to be to the lengths of Vince's limo blowing up, as far as how perceived by fans. And they want to do it when there's fans there again. Do you think that this was anything close to it, or?
Hearing that,
This wasn't it. If this wasn't it, and it got like this heat from social media, then imagine like what they do have planned. Like,
I think that this could be like the beginning of it. And now imagine what Sheamus does when Jeff Hardy inevitably beats him for, you know, it's coming because Sheamus is going to win the Intercontinental title. Then Jeff Hardy's going to beat him. Now imagine what Sheamus is going to do after he beats him. By that time, crowds will be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, we already. I know what that controversial segment's going to be. It's going to be the reveal of the new GTV is going to be CM Punk. It's like one of the most controversial guys. That's what it's going to be.
No.
Oh boy.
Do you hear the sincerity in my voice with that comment?
Every time I hear the name CM Punk, I just, in my mind, fuck off. That's it.
Oh.
But we know it's not Chad Gable now, so that's a plus.
Yo, but let's talk about that guy, because
that guy.
He eliminated. Sorry, Tarek. He eliminated Cesaro and Shinsuke, and then he beat Cesaro in a regular match in one night. So,
and then he also got the fat guy.
Yeah, so it's like, is Gable back now?
That's the fat guy.
Are we doing that? Are we doing Gable again? Is that what's happening? Like, I don't even know how to take this, because it's like, oh, Gable beat everybody tonight.
Gable even beat himself.
Yeah, it's like he beat everybody, and just like, what? Am I supposed to be enthused by this? Because next week you're gonna have him lose to whatever big name he faces. So whatever.
So they're dropping Shorty G, right?
Oh no, they're still calling him Shorty G.
Yeah,
so not out of the woods yet.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, what is wrestling if not a work in progress? So, hey, guess we're gonna have to see where this all goes next week. But in the meantime, this is a part of the show where we're putting it over to you, our wrestling viewing, listening, consuming audience. What did you think of Double or Nothing? What did you think of this new Jeff Hardy storyline? Good taste, bad taste? Could it go somewhere good? Whatever it is, we want to hear from you. So drop us a line all across social media, YouTube comments, Facebook comments, or just getting to us directly on Twitter. It's all good. So speaking of Twitter, you can also follow us at ScholarsOW for all the latest episode uploads every single week. Or if you want to chat with us more directly, you can join us on our personal Twitter accounts. Tarek, where can they reach you?
If they don't know where they can reach me, then they don't know what they're doing, because they can reach me at the Avatar.
Scholar Brian, where can they reach you?
You can find me plotting heavily at Atomic Beanpole.
And Scholar Charles, where can they reach you?
And Charlene.
At Charlene. And you can reach me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation. It's good conversation that makes the world go round, and we are masters of it. Because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're
welcome. Join the dance party with more great wrestling action next week. See you then.
I will not join the champion dance party. Fuck that noise.